All righty, welcome. Great to have you here. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a webinar all about the metrics that matter. I need to see if you can hear me. I'm coming to you today from Brisbane, Australia. I'll just stop that there. And I need to make sure that you can hear me. So what I need you to do is please go into the chat. Just open up the chat, not the questions, the chat, and type in there, hi from, right? You're from where? Hi from Boston, hi from Chattanooga, wherever you're from. Make sure you can hear me. Oh, cool. You can hear me. Awesome. All right. Melbourne, Australia, Brisbane, Dallas, Boca Raton, Newcastle, Austin, Denver, Colorado, Auckland, New Zealand. Don't get too many Kiwis these days, but that's awesome. Murray Bridge, you got to be kidding. Sweden, Wollongong, Adelaide, Nova Scotia, Georgia, Toronto, Netherlands, Sydney. We are in. Okay. Love it. Okay, team. We're going to use the chat you're going to talk to me. I'm going to talk to you. So what I want you to do is keep that chat open. And with that, as we go through the content, the webinar is going to last for 75 minutes. So no matter where you're from. So right now it's 6:30 a.m. right now for me in Brisbane, Australia. And that could be 12:30 p.m. in LA. But 75 minutes from now, we will finish or thereabouts. Depending on how many questions you've got, of course. If you've got tons of questions, then awesome. If not, we will finish earlier. So here we go. All right, so 3:30, there you go. And awesome. Okay, so let's get into it. Metrics that matter. What's the thought? Oh, get rid of that. Stop it. Get out of that. All right. So first of all, those that don't know me, my name is Rob Nixon, and I've been privileged to work on the accounting profession for 31 years this May. 31 years this May. Holy dooly, right? All over the world, 18 countries. And the topic today started actually in 2001, where I had 105 data sets of 105 accounting firms. So I was looking to buy some accounting firms in 2001. And what happened was I interviewed 105, got all their P&L, the balance sheet, and I was analyzing, okay, what makes a good firm good and a great firm great? And I started writing about this, and I wrote this benchmark report. And the benchmark report was called in Australia the good, the bad, and the ugly of the accounting profession. All about the numbers. It was then like a 6-page, 10-page report or something. And I squirted that out and they loved it, right? And so consequently, it was all about the numbers, looking at what were the levers that make a difference to a great accounting firm. What are they doing differently outside of other accounting firms? So that particular love sort of, I'm not an accountant. Some of you know me, but most of you don't. I'm not an accountant, but you've been my clients since May 1994. And since 2001, I've been writing financial analysis about you. And so what we're going to do today is highlight some of the metrics that matter. So little cunning plan, something gift for you. We have our annual benchmark report coming up. I'm about to take you through that in a tick on a few things. And the benchmark report is going to be about 300 firms. We are opening now and open until February 15, 5 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific time. So North American firms, USA and Canada primarily. You'll get comparison results, insights, all free. You'll get the report on May 1 or thereabouts, no cost whatsoever. And to participate, you'll need to actually go through that QR code. Let me show you something as to what you're going to get. Again, we want you to participate. Bump it up and out. I'll just go here and I'll get rid of that. Boom. Get rid of that and show you this. All right, this is pretty cool. So the benchmark report itself this is last year's, so 2024 results. Very comprehensive. All about data, all about numbers, all about results. Your results are highlighted as a participant. Talk about key issues. We survey the key issues, survey the key opportunities, look at the success drivers. This is last year's version. We'll change it this year. And then a lot of case study feedback, analyze profit per partner, profit per partner percentages, revenue per partner, revenue per FTE, so you can benchmark yourself against that. So you get the free report, but that doesn't include your numbers. Your numbers are in here. We put this little guide down here as to where you fit, which is pretty cool. Customized for you, utilization, average daily rate for client hours, growth rates, sustainable index, and lots of other cool things. And in the back, we have a metrics guide as well. So that is going to be last year's report. This year's report will be somewhat different. It'll be just a different thing, but always getting better. So please be part of that. Click on the QR code. No cost to participate. No cost, but you will get as a result. Thanks, Keith. Always part of it every year. You will get a comprehensive report, you versus the rest. So we need data in there to do it. We spend 3 months crunching the data. I specifically do it. We don't let AI do this. Wait, sorry, my accent would have come through. We don't let AI do this. We literally manually crunch the data, so we make sure add insights to that as well along the way. So that is the ask. I'm going to give you something free today, which is a ton of content around metrics that matter. But the ask is, I want you to participate in this for free. All free. Can't have everyone. So let's get into it. Let's look at, first of all, the journey that you're on. Whether you know about this or not, right? This is a journey. The journey you're on in your accounting business. And after 30 and a half years, nearly 31, I've seen firms go through this journey, and some of them don't even know that they're in it, right? So you start your life typically as a practice owner, a practitioner practicing your craft, right? You've come through the ranks, you've started as a graduate, then you've somehow become a partner either of the firm you worked with, or alternatively, you've become going to start your own firm, but you're a practice owner, a crafts person, right? Grinding it out and typically working too much in it. For our North American firms, you're about to get grinding in the next few weeks. And the money's okay, but you don't have much time. At some point in time, you flip the switch. And you flip the switch from being a practice owner to a business owner. And the business owner, it's not just a mindset shift. I own an accounting business. You then switch the activity, which is to spend more time working on it than in it. More time working on the business than in the business. Today's education would be chalked up as 75 minutes of working on time, because you're learning, you come up with ideas, right? I am working in it, you're working on it. And when you flip the switch and spend more time working on the business, the money is much better, right? And you get more time as well. But you've got to flip that switch. Otherwise, you'll be grinding, right? Then there's a third level. And some firms decide to stop there and go, you know what? I'm happy with the money. I'm making $2 million profit, and I'm working 200 hours. Bonkers, right? I just went to grab myself a coffee, and at the coffee shop was a past client, Grant. And I see Grant's in the local area, like we live in the countryside. I see him sort of once a week thereabouts. And I started laughing. I said, Grant, here you are as a past accountant, because he sold out a couple of years ago in his firm, and bringing the page up. All right, let's, same here. Sorry about that, folks. I will fix the QR code, okay? We will fix the QR code. As we go through this, I'll put up the QR code at the end, right? So I can do that in about 30 seconds. Thank you, everyone. I will fix the QR code. So Grant, I was saying, Grant, what's funny about this is that here you are as an accountant, and I'm about to speak to 400 in the next 30 minutes. And so Grant got himself to business owner stage, and then he got out of it and decided to basically sell his business. But he could have gone to level 3 if he chose to. And level 3 is what we call investor level. Investor level at level 3. Investor level, where you basically treat this, I've got an asset here, and if I work myself out of every job, I hire in everything that I do, then I can actually have an asset. So I've hired in marketing, right? I used to do that. I've hired in sales. You used to do that. You've hired in business manager, firm admin. You've hired in assistants to do the admin things, and you've hired senior tax manager and client relationship managers to run what? Okay, you no longer have a job, right? You are an owner, but not an operator. An owner, but not an operator. Awesome. If that's the case, if you choose to get there, why would you sell it? Keep it chunking along, right? And you could create generational wealth on that. You can go as fast as you want on this, as fast as you want. If you choose to. The firms we coach, we meet them at practice owner level, right? We meet them there. We quickly get them to business owner in the next couple of years. And some of them decide to go on to investor level and to create an asset to either sell it for a higher multiple where, like my past client and friend, Debbie, she had a $2 million firm, sold it for $5 million because she wasn't going with the sale, right? She got herself out of every job, far more valuable business. So you can go as fast as you want, but that's the journey that you're on, whether you knew about it or not. That's pretty cool, right? However, it's never going to happen if you stick to the old business model. The old business model. Here is the old business model of running an accounting practice, which the vast majority still operate and run today. You want to drive revenue, right? Revenue. We want to get more revenue every single year. Awesome. How do we do that under the old model? We have people power, volume of accountants doing accounting work. Times productive time, a percentage of their work time is productive, effective, or as our American and Canadian friends call it, utilization, productive time. Multiplied by the average charge rate per person, less write-downs equals revenue. That is the typical model. To drive revenue, we need people. We need those people to be effective, to punch out the hours. We need a healthy charge rate per person and minimize the write-offs. Sound familiar? I'm sure it does, right? What is wrong with this model? Of course, less labor costs equals GP, less overheads equals profit, right? What is wrong with this model? Well, first of all, it's predicated on volumes of accountants. Secondly, and this model, by the way, is typically time-based billing in arrears, right? The price pops out at the end. It's predicated on more chargeable hours. I want more chargeable time out of you. More chargeable time from you. What, do you want me to work longer hours? Yes, I do. Particularly coming up to busy season, work. Not team. You wonder why people don't want to work for the accounting profession when you get them to work so many hours? There's better options out there. This model is flawed. And then the charge rate business, right? How did you come to the charge rate? Well, the person's paid $100,000. That they work 2,000 hours, so that's $50 an hour. And we have a factor of 4 on that. So the charge rate is $200. So, okay. So what does that mean when their salary goes to 110? Oh, the charge rate goes up. So the charge rates go up in accordance with salaries, but the profit does not. The revenue definitely does, but the profit does not. And what you end up with is a glut of salary in the firm and not the profitability that you should be experiencing. A glut of salary levels. Fundamentally flawed for efficiency. If you are pricing jobs after the fact, any client project after the fact, your team are not incentivized by being super efficient. If you follow that model, time billing in arrears, time-based billing in arrears, and you get 50% more efficient, which is possible, you'd have to double the charge rates to make the same money. And that's not going to happen. Fundamentally flawed. Who came up with this bonkers model, right? Who came up with this? Let me show you who it was. Who was the culprit, right? This geezer right here, Reginald Herbert Smith, in 1919, created the billable hour as a lawyer, as an attorney. And the accountants caught on. They caught on, and you get this crazy stuff. Oh, what's your hourly rate? Oh, $4.50, but say $3.50. Just why would you discount it straight away? It's a crazy model for efficiency. It's a crazy model for pricing appropriately, for getting what you're worth. It's not the hourly rate. It's what was put into the years prior to get to that margin. Why would you operate an outdated model developed by your great-great-granddaddy? It is crazy time. Thankfully, you're here. I'm going to show you a different model and some different numbers to measure. This model you look at revenue planning. And this was the typical revenue plan. Okay, we do $1 million now, and we want 7.5% growth rate. So in 10 years, we'll double to 2 million. Oh, let's go for 10% growth rate. You know what's really crazy? As we look at growth rates and pricing, as we look at inflation the last 5 years, little rhetorical question here, but maybe you work it out for yourself. As we look at inflation over the last 5 years, first of all, that's consumption inflation. Then we look at salary prices last 5 years. Then we look at the gross margin of an accounting business the last 5 years, let's call it 60%. Have your top line prices caught up with just being square on inflation and salary cost? Probably not, but you've grown the revenue. The revenue's grown 10%, 12.5%, 15%. You had 15%, you double in 5. Stop doing this. Stop targeting this way. We're not doing this. We are not driving hours out the door. Yes, we want to be efficient, but efficiency means priced up front, time down. Talking about that, one of the firms we coached for 3 years in Toronto, last year, sorry, 2023, it was this time last year the reward happened. 2023, they had a target called TUPY, T-U-P-Y, time under prior year. And the goal was 20% for known jobs. Time under prior year. Everything's fixed fee, 20% time under prior year, and we hit $5 million in revenue, the entire team go to Mexico. I think this is the third week of January. If it is, the third week of January last year, 35 people went to Mexico from Toronto, out of the snow to the sunshine. They were not operating under the old model. Would never have happened. So what is this new model? What does it look like? This is a model that is client-centric. This is a model that really helps the client with everything they need. It is definitely revenue and profit driven for sure, but it's pulling on different levers to get a much better result. Here, let me step you through it. By the way, all the slides are made available, so don't ask in the chat. They will be made available. Ask a question in the chat, and as I said before, I will fix the QR code sometime during our session while we are answering questions and doing two things at the same time. So the new business model in action starts with existing clients. Let's say 385. We've got 385 existing client groups. Now we have active lead generation for the year. We generated 100 leads, 100 fresh potential clients. We converted 35% of those. That gave us 35 new clients. Now I know under referral rates, referral leads, you get a far higher conversion rate. But in this case, we end the year with 420 clients, 420. We had a retention rate of 90%, so we lost 10%. We had an average transaction value of $27.50, so every project was $27.50 average. We had 2 projects per client per year. Mathematically, it comes out at $2,079,000. We had labor costs of $950, which gave us gross profit of 1.1. Overheads of 429 gave us profitability of 700 grand. Not bad for a 2-partner firm, 350 a piece, pretty good. This model is predicated on growing these numbers, not charging more hours, more billable time. Thank you. Bob Govro's online. Bobby, love Bobby Govro. When I met Bob, Bob's from Toronto. Bob was, and Bob, feel free to have a little chat here as we go. Bob was about 200 grand in revenue. Met him 13, 15 years ago. Started coaching Bob about 7 or 8 years ago when he was about 1 or 2 million in revenue. And so that was 2018 or 17, I think it was, Bob. I caught up with you 2 years ago and it was about 10 million in revenue. Bob, just put a number in the chat. What are you doing this year? What's the plan in revenue? See if Bob answers. He's grown like weeds. Look up. Oh, wow. Okay. 20 million in 2024 and 25 in 25. That is phenomenal. Love it. Bobby, well done, bud. Bob Govro never has a hiring problem. Bob is testament to this works. You know, we worked with Bob for a few years and the foundation's there. He take it from there. Thank you, mate. We'll catch up for dinner in Toronto when I'm there next. Now 20 million last year and 25 and 25. That's some growth. Look up Bob Govro online. Look at his marketing, because Bob doesn't have a hiring problem because he's a gun marketer, right? Gun marketer. All right. Thanks, mate. Thanks for being here. So, team, we're focusing on the new business model in action, right? So we're going to focus on top line growth and driving time down so our labor costs don't get in the way, right, of profitability. I'll come back to that one soon, right? So here's how we drive the top line. We call it Rob's rule of 38, 43. Here is Rob's rule of 38, 43. Here's what it looks like. If we did a 5% increase in client numbers, a 3% increase in retention rate, a 10% increase in the price per project, and a 20% increase on the number of projects per client per year, there's your 38, you will get a 43% increase in revenue each year. 43%. If you just focused on those levers there, slight increase in client numbers, slight increase in retention rate, slight increase in price per project, and a slight increase in the number of projects per client per year. Those are better levers than grinding the hours out on your team. Here it is in action. Here it is in action. Numbers, numbers, numbers. Back to our existing clients of 385. 100 leads still generated, but we're going to improve the conversion rate. We're going to get better with our sales strategy, sales skills. I know, yes, we'll get a recording, Kelly, and the slides for sure, right? So you can share this. Kelly, we can't, one of the reasons we do this, Kelly, we can't work with everyone. We only work with a maximum 64 coaching clients at a time. Typically it's a 2 to 3 engagement. So we do a lot of free stuff, right? To help you where we can't physically help you. So you'll get the recording, get the slides, and the opportunity to participate in the benchmark report as well. Cool. You're welcome, Kelly. Okay, so we focus on sales conversion rate, sales skills, sales process. I know Bob at $20 million in revenue last year. He's got a marketing team, he's got a sales team, he's got appointment setters, he's got all that going on. But when I met him at $1 million, or he didn't have that at 200 grand, right? Conversion rate, say 56%, which means we now converted 56 new clients. Net total now 441. There's our increase in client numbers. Small increase. We pulled the lever of conversion rate. If we pulled the lever of leads and conversion rate, even better. Retention rate went up by 3 points to 92.7. 3%, not 3 percentage points. Average project value went to 3 and 25. And then the number of projects went to 2.4. Now our revenue is 2.967. We laid on 900 grand of extra revenue. Typically, if you increased your revenue under the old model of 900,000, if you increased your revenue by 900, then you would probably add about 4 or 5 accountants, expensive accountants. We don't like that plan. We've priced everything up front. We've got more efficient. We don't need as much labor, and we may have hired the labor offshore, but let's add 200 grand in labor costs. 200 grand. If you follow the rest of the efficiency model that we have as well. So now our gross profit is $1.8 million. We've increased our overheads, not by much. Maybe you just hired us, for example, to 529. And then our profit becomes 1.288. Still 2-partner firm, much better numbers. Instead of 350 a piece, we now got 600 a piece. So this is year one, right? Year one. So 5% increase in clients, client-centric, a 3% improvement in retention rate, a 10% improvement in price per project, a 20% improvement in number of projects per client per year. They buy more from you. And that gives us a 43% increase in revenue. And in this case, an 84% increase in profit. Happy days. Happy days, right? Different model altogether. By the way, if you go to robnixon.com and free stuff, you'll be able to, guides, you'll be able to download a strategy map with 410 projects on there. Now, that's pretty cool too. So let's dig into this a bit more, right? Let's dig into this firm, fictitious firm with these numbers. These numbers. This is the model of $1 million profit after tax per partner firm. We'll just use one partner. And if you've got more partners than that, then awesome. Just multiply the numbers by number of partners. So one partner. And one partner, we've got 6 accountants, 3 admin and marketing. So 9, 10-person firm. We've got a 10-person firm here. We've got 200 client groups. The average project value, $32.50. And number of projects, 4 per year. So the average fee per client, 13,000. It's a business-focused accounting business, 13,000 average fee per client. Not a big ask, right? The revenue, multiply that through, is $2.6 million. So 260,000 revenue per FTE, per full-time equivalent. Our GP at 76%. We like to keep margin or cost of labor around that 25, no more than 30% mark. Cost of labor, no more than 30%. Typically in the accounting practice world, thank you, Cunning. Typically, it gets better, by the way. We're still got like 45 minutes to go and more. Typically in the accounting practice world, the labor component is more like 40%, sometimes 45%, because you're not focused on driving some of the key metrics we're talking about today. Overheads, we like those at about 15%, in this case 14, will give us total costs of $1,040,000. Profit is 1.56, some tax, $1,014,000. So under the old practice model, you wouldn't be doing that because you're focused on the wrong things. My first book in 2010 or 11 was called Accounting Practices Don't Add Up. Why they don't and what to do about it, right? The old practice model provides a good lifestyle for sure, right? But man, the noose around the neck for the partners for the time is not good. So under this model, we have time down for partners. Let's say 500 hours each or less, right? If you choose to get to the investor model, far less, of course, 0. Accountants, about 1,300 hours a year. Don't hammer them, team. You're pushing the wrong number here. The number we want to push is this one, which is average hourly rate for client hours, in this case, 313. Average hourly rate for client hours, 313. We've got some more questions. Robert, I will see how it works with a fee of $896 a month. Yep. Covering your fees, month 2, 3, 4, 12, one or two. If you follow what we say, you'll start making money straight away. By the way, team, we have a little saying, trust us now, believe us later, right? Trust now, believe us later. We guarantee what we do 5 times ROI. So yeah, straight away. 313 average hourly rate. Thanks, Bob. Didn't know Bob was going to be here. And 130 for all hours worked. Let's dig into this, right? Let's dig into these numbers and let's dig into what needs to change to get these sort of numbers and better. There are 4 areas in your accounting business you need to focus on. The objective for you is more meaning, more freedom, more life. We call this the profit time system, right? Here's an overview of the profit time system. We measure average hourly rate. We measure efficiency, time down, number of clients, fee per client, and of course we do revenue, profit, cash, and profit time index, which I'll come to as well. Profit time index. So depending on your implementation speed and effectiveness will determine how fast you get to the result you want. 4 areas. I want you to think about this as you go into this new year. Well, we're in the new year now. One is fixing what's going on today, minimizing time, reducing time, scaling to whatever size you want. You may not want to go to Bob's 25 million and more. I know Bob's on a grand plan to go even higher than that. You may just want to scale to 5 or 10 and lead your business through this process. Let's look at the components under each that you need to think about. And this should become a poster of yours. Like we're working on these areas. We're going to hold tests around this as well. One is pricing up front and price increase, right? You cannot do this unless you price up front. Value pricing, charging appropriately for the value you create with the work that you do with your client. Recurring revenue, best thing ever, subscription model for the known work and the known entities. Managing scope, creep, and seep, making sure if you're doing work, the client is getting charged for it, not by an extra invoice, but the time is going on the clock so you can measure it, right? By the way, I'm an advocate of timesheets. I'm not an advocate of hourly rates. Timesheets, yes, so we can measure efficiency. Leakage, wastage, hourly rates, no. We price in different ways. Lock up production, so work in progress, speed of work out the door, and accounts receivable. Accounts receivable should be at 0 if you're on a monthly recurring revenue model. Client mix, only a client. We've got some clients to fix and clean out, and client service program and our communication process as well to clean up. Fixing day to day, right? What's going on today? Minimizing time. When you've got a price upfront model, our objective is to time minimize, right? So workflow management, looking at workflow. We have a 25-step workflow process. We did that webinar in December. We made available as well on how to reduce time with a better workflow process. Client concierge system, so you've got administrative people doing their admin tasks associated with the accounting work. Time budgets and all jobs. Having time budgets, all jobs, so you can reduce the time. All the tech, all the AI tech that you need, the cloud-based tech that you need at the client side and your side. The whole tech piece is a major, major piece for efficiency. Systems and processes, one way of doing it here. Learning and development, and then partner time. How do we spend partner time? What we call the 30-60-10 rule. Okay, Brian's in a conversation with Bob now. Why? Bob, you take away that conversation. I'll keep talking. What promote you to engage rather than make the investment initially? Then we go to scaling. And so scaling to whatever size you want. Look at the whole brand, the external outlook that you portray to the world. Your client goals documented. Start with existing clients, making sure that they have their goals documented, so you know where their financial goals, so you know where they're going, so you can help them get there. Finding opportunities. We have a 100% success rate when our firms use our system called Find Opportunities to find opportunities in current client work. One of our firms, Concepts and Results, every week they call it Client Spotlight. They brainstorm, they tell the client in advance, they brainstorm something else they can help this client with right now. And so they tell the client, we're going to brainstorm you and then come back to you. It's called Find Opportunities and Making a Sale. It's awesome. Niche markets, deciding exactly who you're going to target, makes marketing scale. Lead generation, A-class leads. Productization of services. So we're going to productize services so we get a more repeatable process and more efficiency. So Brian, Bob may have jumped off, otherwise he would have answered your question. But we can take that up later on if we need to. Sales process and sales skills. And where do we get the people? Onshore, offshore, or outsource? All the above, right? There's people everywhere to work in your firm, without a doubt. And then we've got the leadership piece, right? Leadership piece, our vision, our mission. Christopher, good question. Partner time. This is the first hurdle. Thank you, Christopher. 30-60-10. So partner time, no more than 30% of your time in client delivery work. So client delivery work, meaning high-end work for clients, right? No more than 30% of your time, so call it 400 or 500 hours. 60% of time and this is initially, right? Before you hire salespeople, 60% of your time in a sales capacity, business development, and 10% in leadership, driving the performance of the business. Once we get to that point, then we can start hiring salespeople, different delivery people, and reduce it even further. Thank you, Christopher, for that message. Vision, mission, Big Hairy Audacious goals. Operational plan. What does the one-page plan look like? Reporting and accountability. Our team culture. What does our team culture look like? Team performance, getting the team to fire, themes and celebrations, and then meeting rhythms, and then pulling that all together. There's a lot to do in the accounting business, right? This is a journey. And that journey is, if you decide to work with us, it's typically 2 or 3 years, about 3 years, 3 years, sometimes 5. We've got some firms that still work with it 6 and 7 years, but be like Bob, 3 years with us and then take it from there, right? The magic number out of all this, we're talking about metrics. Here is the magic number that will change your life. Oh, Bob, thank you, Bob. Bob's got a great answer there. The magic number that will change your business performance life, your profitability in this business, your whole mindset, and that magic number is simply called average hourly rate. And the equation is really simple, right? Revenue billed by client hours. This invoice had $2,000, had 10 hours, therefore 200. This invoice had $2,000 and it had 20 hours, therefore 100. What was the margin on the work? Here is the profit per client model. Let me show you this in action as to how you do this. Profit per client model. The old model was it takes 28 hours to complete. 28 hours to complete. Time on clock, 28. Applied charge rate, $175. Priced in arrears, $4,900. Time-based billing in arrears, 28 hours times 175, popped out at $4,900. We're not going to do that, right? We're going to flip it around. We're going to repackage the $4,900 at, say, $6,125 at $510 a month. We're going to repackage the known work and the known entities, including unlimited phone calls, emails, and meetings, and tax planning, known work, package it up, divide by 12. Now, or if it's just a project at $4,900, we're going to repackage it at upfront $6,125. And now we're incentivized to reduce the time as much as possible. With efficiency measures, with technology, with workflow process, we get that same job down to 20. Time under budget, time under prior year. Now, our average hourly rate pops at the end at 306. Average hourly rate at 306. So we're going from 175 to 306 with a small price increase and a time decrease. What do we do now? What we do now is we sniff out another job, another project, and we go to that project, that client, with a new proposition, and we find a $7,500 VBF, a $7,500 value-based fee. This one's priced on value to client, nothing to do and charge, time materials. And we use the 8 hours that we saved previously to facilitate this job. The margin on this one is $937. Now, this one client is worth $13,625, same 28 hours, but the average hourly rate is $486 for the client. What was the total new profit from this client? Total profit, $8,725, assuming the costs were the same. And team, we do this over and over and over again. We price up front, we drive the time down, we refill the capacity with a new value-based fee project or a new opportunity or new clients, and then we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again, and we watch our average hourly rate climb. It climbs. Check this out. Accountants love tables and data. Here's a table to sink your teeth into. Let's say you've got a profit margin of 40% before salaries, before partner salaries. And as a result of driving average hourly rate by 60%, assuming same cost structure, your profitability will increase by 50%. That's pretty cool, right? You'll get these tables to noodle around with. Let's say you've got the same table, but now we look at how much revenue could we lose to make the same profit. Again, 40%, 60% increase in AHR. We could afford to lose 38% of revenue, which means you could cull some clients, sell off some clients, and get the capacity. That's the bonus, right? And so make the same profit. That's pretty cool. So AHRs are cool. You can use it for capacity planning, right? So let's say we've got a target of $5 million in revenue, and you've got a target of $250 average hourly rate. Well, you need 20,000, that into that, 20,000 human hours. Not a good look. That's a lot of hours, right? If we said, you know what, we're going to change the narrative on this, and we're going to target still 5 million, but we're going to target $500 an hour. We only need 10,000 human delivery hours. 10,000. Team, we're going to drive average hourly rate. I want you to obsess about this number. We're going to drive it by period. We measure by period, quarterly, monthly, weekly. We've got a firm in Savannah, Georgia that we currently work with, and they have there's 2 cuts on average hourly rate. Average hourly rate on client hours, as in margin on work, and average hourly rate for all hours worked. And the team at Sadowski & Co., they have a little sneaky plan every Monday morning. What was our average hourly rate all hours worked? So the team, 15 folks, worked 600 hours last week. What was our average hourly rate? If they hit the number or above, this Friday, you don't need to work. Awesome. Every week there's a bonus. If we hit our number every week, but measure it weekly. Product by invoice or measure it by product. Some margins have different product. By person, some people are more efficient than others. And by client, right? This is a biggie. Column A, client name. Column B, revenue that you get from that client. Column C, hours taken for the year to get that revenue from that client. Column D is going to be B into C, AHR per client. It will astound you. It should increase monthly. It should increase monthly. Let me show you an example. We just did this 2 days ago. I'm just going to kill that one. I'm back here and bring that one down there and bring this one up here. This is a firm that, oops, just do that. Hang on a tick. Let's fix this. I'll fix that QR code in a tick too. This is a firm that we worked with, still working with just 2 days ago, and in the US, and here are the numbers, right? I'll just get my little thing here. Boom. So $4 million firm, 3 partners, 1.5 profit, 28,000 hours out the door, 144 average hourly rate, sort of stock standard, nothing fancy. And I said them 2 days ago, or I've got 3 ways to drive this number. We can increase the price, the top line price. We can decrease the time with a fixed price, so process improvement. And we can sell a product to that new capacity at a new margin. So I said, okay, let's look at price increase first. And they said 10%. Awesome. 10% price increase. I said process improvement. So we're going to focus on reducing the time on the current 4 million or the 28,000 hours. They said 20%. Okay, we've now freed up 5,600 hours. We're going to resell those hours at a new margin. And they said 300. Awesome. Cool. That were the numbers. Not a huge, not big numbers, but these are the levers in driving average hourly rate. Check this out. So I said, okay, if we do that, then if we just did the price increase only from 4.1, add 10%, we get to 4.55. That's great. And we get a lift in $400,000 profit, and our average hourly rate goes from 144 to 158. Our hours remain the same. If we just did a price increase, what if we just did a process improvement, time down? Well, the revenue was the same because we priced it up front. The profit was the same. We got no profit improvement, but we did get some new capacity in, 5,800 hours. And so if we got new capacity and we didn't sell it, well, that'd be a waste. But if we got new capacity, then we could make a choice. Do we need all these team members? And our average hourly rate certainly went up to 180. Okay, what if we did price and process? Much better. We got our profit improvement of 414. We got our margin to 44%, but we didn't resell the hours. We didn't resell the capacity, but our average hourly rate went up by $50 to 198. But what if we did all 3 at the same time? All 3 at the same time. Now, this is exciting, right? Our revenue went to 6.2, profit went to 3.7. We made an extra $2 million profit, or 59%, much better numbers. The hours were the same because we refilled those hours that we saved with a higher margin, and now our average hourly rate is $218. $218. We drive average hourly rate by price, by process, and refilling it with new product. Exciting times, team. Before we go to the next one, I am just going to fix that QR code and answer your questions at the same time. So because I need to, otherwise you're going to be mad at me. So let me just get this happening. Yeah, so get your questions in the chat, please. You've got 30 seconds to get questions in the chat as I create a new QR code. Get your questions in the chat. We are coming in hot. And QR code, where did you go? Still happening. Don't know why that one didn't work. All right. Questions in the chat. All right. Questions coming in. Boom, 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 boom. Keep the questions coming. I'm just waiting for the QR code to be generated. This is live. Far out. That one there. I'll change that one there. Go on, baby. Gotcha. Bear with me. QR code fixed. Back to the chat. All right. Let's get some questions here. I like that. Obsessed about it. Cool. How to calculate if you aren't invoicing with? Yeah, sure. So, Edward, how do you calculate ARR weekly? It's on the work that you are invoicing, first of all. Yeah, 30% client work, no more, Jade. 60% sales and 10% leadership. If you invoice monthly, how do you calculate AHR? Simply by the hours taken into the invoicing. So if you're, by the way, Avasud, if I pronounce that correctly, if you are monthly recurring revenue, then throughout the year, there's some months you don't work on a client. You need to even that out over 3 months. So we need to look at it per invoice, per client. We need to look at it all the time, like I'm saying all the time. Got it. Thank you. Any other questions I missed? Gotcha. All right, cool. Let's look at our next index. So HR obsessed about this one, but I think you should obsess about this one as well, right? And this one is called Profit Time Index. This is a measure as a leader of all the work that you do in developing your firm. So you're growing, you are profitable, you're acquiring, you've got people, you've got management, you've got leadership, you've got all these things going, right? So what's the end result? What's the end number? The end number is Profit Time Index from a partner's leader's point of view. It's a measure of what you do in this firm as a partner. Profit Time Index has the following equation. I invented this index about 4 years ago on a plane. I gave myself the challenge, okay, what would be a number that with all the work we do with firms, we do a lot of work with firms, a lot of development work, that they could see progress, not just revenue, profit, and cash, but this one on personal progress. Here's the equation. Stacy, I'll come back to your question in a moment. Profit Time Index is the profit for the month before partner salaries divided by the time the partners work in the business. Working in time, classified as anything that looks like client work, charged or not charged, anything admin, HR management, whatever the business does, right? On time are going to be tasks that get leverage. So today, chalk up an hour of on. You're getting leverage when you implement whatever we're talking about today. So tasks that get leverage. So for example, writing a book. I've written 4 so far. There's another one in the works, little secret there. It takes for me about 100 hours to write a book without AI. And that is working on time because that gets leverage over the next 4 or 5 years. Tasks that get leverage. So I want you to work this number out. Every month, work it out, right? We made a profit of 100,000. My hours were 100 hours working in, therefore $1,000. Obsess about this number. Here's a little sliding scale for you. If you're 0 to 250, you're basically overworked, underpaid. If you are 250 to 500, you're starting to make a little bit of money, but you're still working too much. If you're 500 to 1,000, okay, money's pretty good, but what about the time? The objective is profit up, time down, profit up, time down. At 1,000 to 1,500, you've got some leverage that's kicked in, right? You've got yourself out of some jobs. That's going great. But here and here, around the 2,000 mark, don't get too comfortable because life's pretty good right now, right? You've got 2,000 profit time index. You've got plenty of time. You've got plenty of money. You might be on that $1 million profit at 500 hours. And that, starts to take care of life. Any debt you've got's paid off or paying off, investing a bit, charitables, lifestyle's improved. Happy days. Happy days. Let's not get too comfortable. Let's now create a game. Let's double it from here without doubling the time. Let's double it from here without doubling the time. Let's keep pushing. There's more in you yet. Keep pushing. And when you get to about 10, it's go big or go home. Yeah, but Bob's at 25 million. I know he doesn't do any client work. If he does, it's very minimal. His number would be off the charts. Profit time index. Obsess about that. Obsess about this one as well. How you spend your time, partners, as a leader. How you're actually spending your time. Let's look at some metrics you're going to measure on a weekly basis. Weekly scorecard. How many leads did we get last week? This is in your weekly team meeting. How many sales meetings did we do? Of course, Bob. How many sales meetings did we do as a business? What's our filing or lodging percentage as far as, where we're at with our program this year? Average hourly rate for client hours, time under budget, and revenue for the week. Reported weekly to the team. Reported weekly. These are the key numbers weekly. Of course, you're looking at cash and all that sort of thing as well, but I'm talking about reporting to the team. Monthly scorecard. The monthly scorecard is slightly different. Average hourly rate for all hours worked. As I mentioned, the team at Sadowski & Co., they do it weekly. Monthly's cool. Definitely client hours. How did we do against our target? How many new clients did we get? What was our revenue for the month? What was our profit for the month? And our profit time index for the month as well. Let me show you an example of that in a really cool, just make sure I've got it here. Oh, got it. Okay, cool. So we use a solution for our firms, solution you may be familiar with called Fathom. This is a firm this is live or real time. This is in a firm in Raleigh, North Carolina. And so we can see based on targets, I'll show you what we measure here. So we got four of the KPIs on track, 3 slightly off track. And then we have commentary around this. So every month we measure all the firms we work with on this, and so they can compare each other. So you can see here, 260 average hourly rate, 3 new clients, 25 new leads. Profit was bad in December. We'll get to that. But overall for the year, 4.2 mil sole practitioner, 4.2 mil in revenue, 42% profit. Profit time index 23.79, $19 down from last year. So this particular firm has got a lot of things going well, and you can see, if you can see it on your screen, the ebbs and flows of profitability throughout the year, 42% net for the year. Pretty cool, right? So we have all of our firms do this every single month. And then this is your report card, right? This is your analysis that you report to your partners and or team on. So we targeted 4.17, got 4.22. Last year, this year, small increase, not a huge increase. But when I met this particular firm, it was $2 million in revenue with $650 profit. And now we're 4.2 in revenue with about a 1.8 profit. Pretty cool, right? And then we can see the ebbs and flows of profit time index as well. So we look at these numbers, team, and we want to understand what the numbers are for sure, but we also want to drive these numbers in the right way. So back to our benchmark report. Test that QR code, please. I'll just get it up on the screen. Make sure that one works. QR code, see if it works. Give me a sense, someone to tell me if this works or not. Just do a snap and just make sure it works. That's the one I fixed. Just give me a thumbs up if that QR code works, please. All right, let me get. I can tell. I'll do it on my phone here. Let's see. What are you doing? Okay, if it doesn't work, then we will send it to you. No, damn it. All right. It's same thing's happened to me. It's hanging. All right. We will send you the link in an email. Watch out for that. Same thing. I mean, all right. Fathom track metrics. Yeah, Fathom's awesome. Yeah, so you can link to the accounting software as well. So sorry about the link, team. We'll fix that. All right. As I said, there's 300 firms getting this benchmark report. We'd love you to be in it. Oh, we know it doesn't work. I don't know why. It's too many accesses at one time. Yeah, that could be the issue as well, Roy. Good to see you, Roy. It's been a while. We're opening this till 5 p.m. February 15. Comparison report, insights, report on May 1, and all free for you. Now, team, server stopped responding. Too many people getting on it. Yeah, so that's probably didn't load either. All right, Serena. Stay tuned for an email today, team. You'll get the slides, you'll get the recording, and you'll get the links to as promised. So let's just do it that way, right? So team, some of you will go on the benchmark report. I hope you all do, which is great. But also some of you may want to transform your accounting business dramatically. Transform your profit, transform your cash, transform your revenue, your team, transform your clients, transform your lifestyle, your wealth, and yourself, right? Transform. If you want to do that, then we need three things. You need accountability, you need learning, and you need sharing. Accountability, learning, and sharing. Today is about content. Anything we provide for free, webinars, books, guides, etc., it's content. Lovely. We'll give you the good stuff. But it fades out after a while. You get a bit of a burst. You start measuring AHR, for example, as a result of this today, and then it peters out, and you don't, right? You don't. If you want to really transform, you need further help. You need coaching. You need how-to tools, implementation support. You will find if you engage that sort of help, the numbers will go up and to the right. From today, you've got a choice. Do nothing, up to you. Do a little on your own, or with our help, we can transform every aspect of your professional life, and you choose to transform your lifestyle. We have three components. We have coaching, we have content, and we have community, right? Getting people together to do this. We've got some capacity for the USA and Canadian market right now. If you want to increase your profit and decrease your time, if you are more than $1 million in revenue now, that's our cut. You're 1 to 5 aligned partners, not too many partners. You're ambitious because we're going to drive you, and you're coachable, then let's meet and see if we can help. I'll put some meeting details in the, no, not that. By the way, that link is for the benchmark report. That's that one there. And this link is going to be, what happened there? Bear with me. This link is to book a session to see if we can help you. There's the two links there. You can grab those. And team, we'd love to help. We'd love to make a difference. We'd love to work with you, only if you want to work with us, of course, and only if you want to drive the performance of your firm north. We're bang on the hour. Normally we're 75 minutes. We can stick around for more questions if you choose to, or we can simply pack up and go home and have a great day. Team, I've enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Looking forward to seeing many of you. Thanks, April. Good to see you. Seeing many of you. Oh, I didn't answer. I think his question. Hang on. Question was back. Missed a question. No, got down there. So Stacy asked me a question directly. How important is it that I have time by client monthly? I assume without it, you're not able to help much. I'm not too sure what that means. How important is it that I have time by client monthly? I assume without it, you're not able to help much. Well, first of all, if you've got your client on monthly recurring revenue, some months you're not helping. And that's totally fine. Other months you're helping more, but we're still measuring, what time goes into each client every single month. I think that's the essence of your question there, Stacy. And thank you. Link is not working. Okay, we will. So, Carney, with 300 firms participating, what are the key performance metrics you believe will be most valuable to compare? And how can we use the insights to drive real growth? Carney, The answer to that question is go in the benchmark report and you'll actually find that out, right? That is a question too big to answer right now. Okay, team, all the best. Have fun. Go ahead, rock it. For those in North America, have an awesome busy season. The cool thing about busy season, tax season, February, March, April in USA and Canada, it is marketing time. It's marketing season. You're about to meet so many clients and have a lot of fun with that. All the best, team. Good morning from me. Good afternoon to you.